Hello YouTube fam, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Tina and I make videos on lifestyle, home, and DIY projects every single week. Welcome to another video. Today we are focusing on another makeover in this house. I feel like we've been doing some major makeovers and then also chipping away at small little areas in the house, and that's what we're doing in today's video. I am making it a goal of mine to finish the main floor of the house before summertime, so that's coming up super soon. And our back entry is an area that has been seriously neglected, so we are going to DIY and also just make it beautiful and functional. I have big plans for this space, so I'm excited to make them come to life. And before we get into it, I want to thank today's video sponsor, Modern Fertility. I've partnered with them a couple of times in the past, so I really cannot say enough good things about them. If you're not already familiar with Modern Fertility, they make personalized fertility information and support more accessible with essentials like at-home tests and tools. They actually make the most comprehensive fertility hormone test at home, so this is what I've taken before, and I know it can be a little bit scary to talk about fertility, and talking about reproductive health overall can be kind of uncomfortable to talk about, so I just really like that they've made everything so much more approachable. Brian and I do want to have mini Max running around one day, and I know that having kids is a really personal choice, so if you do make that choice, this is a really great place to start. So the box comes with everything that you need to take your test, and I honestly felt really comfortable just doing it at home by myself versus going to a doctor's office and also spending upwards of $1,500 on a test like this when this one is only $159. So they really make it more accessible for everyone to get information about their own bodies, and that's something that I really love. And taking this test is actually a lot less scarier than it seems. All you really do is poke your finger with one of these, and the instructions really walk you through it. But if you're a little bit nervous like I am, I did watch a lot of videos, and that really helped me feel a lot more calm about doing this test myself. And I honestly just felt so much more empowered doing something for myself. Growing up, I've always had an irregular cycle, so I've always had questions on my fertility, and I feel like I finally have some answers and have a peace of mind. So if you're in the same boat and have a lot of questions, or maybe you're planning to have kids in the near future, I would definitely recommend to check out Modern Fertility. They have so many great free resources. And if you do want to check out the hormone test, they are giving you guys $20 off with my link down below, so make sure you guys check it out. I really cannot thank them enough for being such a great resource and also for sponsoring today's video. So thank you, Modern Fertility. And without further ado, let me take you over to the back entry and show you what we're working with. All right, so here we are. This is the back entrance. Really nothing special to see here. I have a bench that's been thrifted. This is actually for outside, but it's just been hanging out here. So this is actually going to move. Obviously, it's been used for storage, like our Trader Joe's bags, our grill for Korean barbecue, and then a burner for hot pot nights, but those need to go somewhere else. And I love the big windows here. It lets in so much light. We're going to actually keep them as is. I can't really hang any curtains or anything because I feel like that would not be smart, especially next to the stove. So we will keep the windows as they are, and these blinds are actually not broken, so I'm just gonna keep them. But for this area, I'm imagining a long bench here so we can put on our shoes, also put in some plants over here. I think that would be a really nice moment. And then panning over this way, I really wanna add like a shelving moment here, and then a mirror, and then some hooks so that we have some storage. That is my vision, because right now, as you can see, it's not very beautiful or functional at all, so we have to change that. So the back door is gonna get some paint, and then this is our garage door, and then this is the basement door. But for this video, I'm mostly going to be focusing on this back wall, so definitely going to give this area a makeover, and then I will get to these doors eventually. Also, what's funny is that in my original house tour, I remember I talked about this lock to the basement, and I was wondering why there was one, but a lot of people were saying how it's here so that kids can't go downstairs, or it's also a way to keep out any burglars or robbers that might be entering the house through the basement, so then they can't really come upstairs, or at least they would struggle and then you would hear them. So I guess that's the theory, and this isn't as scary as I originally thought it was. I definitely have my work cut out for me, so I'm going to start by building a bench for this area, and that way we can start there and then work on the rest. Alright, so I have all of my wood here, and we basically need 2x4s and then 1x4s, which are a lot skinnier as you can tell. I will list all of the cuts on the screen over here and also down below, but this project should be pretty simple. I'm going to be using my miter saw, but I feel like if you wanted to, you could do this without power tools and just use a handsaw because we're just making straight cuts. And depending on how big you want to make your bench, that's really going to determine how many pieces of wood that you're going to need. With my bench, it's going to be a little over 6 feet, and all the materials cost me about $70, so I think that's really amazing. And now I'm very excited to start cutting, and let's build this bench. So I basically followed a video tutorial as well as a blog post for this bench build, so I'll link it down below for you guys. But I think this is such a great project for beginners, and it is super easily customizable depending on how large you want to make it. For these longer pieces, I'm cutting them at 74 inches just to fit right into that nook underneath the window. When we do the full kitchen reno, I eventually want to have a built-in bench with storage that will fit perfectly in that spot. But for now, this is going to be a great placeholder, and I also plan on using it outside for additional seating around our fire pit. I think it's going to look amazing. When it came to the legs, I'm cutting them according to the tutorial. So we're gonna cut the 2x4s at 15 inches and then the 1x4s at 18.5 inches. And after everything is cut, you wanna go ahead and just sand everything down, making sure that it's nice and smooth and ready for some stain. I also want to note that for the long bench top, I sanded all of the sides, but then for the legs, I mostly just focused on the thinner sides since most of them are going to be glued together anyways, so you're not going to see those or stain them. So this is definitely the lazy girl's way to do it, but it gets the job done. Okay, that took forever and a half, but everything is sanded and looking good. If you look over here, this is how the 2x4s are basically going to lay to give us that slatted look. And once we put it together, it's gonna be really hard to get in here and stain. So I'm gonna actually stain these sides first. That way we don't run into issues later. So I'm gonna do it on both sides of each of these 2x4s, and then we should be good to go. Okay, so you guys know I love to mix my stains together. So for this bench, I'm using Special Walnut first, and then I'm gonna go over it with the Hazelnut right on top. Doing this just lightens it up a little bit and also gives me the natural finish that I'm looking for without looking too warm. And I know I said I was just gonna do the sides, but I really couldn't help myself. I just ended up staining all of the sides, and it was just really fun for me to see the wood grain and the pattern really pop on the wood. I think it looks gorgeous. Okay, so it's finally time to put this all together. So this is basically going to be the top of the bench, and then these 2x4s will be our legs. So we're going to attach it on the end over here. And then our 1x4s are basically just gonna sit on top of that, and that's gonna be a spacer so that we get that nice slatted look. And to attach these, I've seen people do it 2 different ways, so you can screw it together or you can also just brad nail it. And of course, we're gonna use some wood glue to make sure that it's super sturdy. I think that I'm just gonna screw this together just to make sure that this is a really solid piece and that it'll hold up over time. So we're gonna start by putting in pilot holes, and then we can put it together. We're gonna add some pilot holes with a countersink so that the screws will sit in there nicely. And to put it all together, we're using wood glue and then adding in the screws through all of the pieces. I actually found some screws in my stash that are self-cutting, so this was really nice because then I can get into all of the wood without having to pilot hole all of them. So I would highly recommend those, and this is a really repetitive process. I kind of felt like I was putting together Jenga pieces, and I overall just really enjoy this project because I like to make simple projects that are approachable and also look really great, which is exactly what this project is, and I just could not be happier with how it was turning out. I'm loving how the bench is turning out, and I'm just gonna let that dry. So while I wait for that, I'm gonna go upstairs and paint. It's already getting dark out, but I wanna get a head start. So let's freshen these walls.
This is so satisfying. Here, you try.
There's like no room. Why are we matching?
I've been wearing the blue shirt.
Yeah, I guess I'm copying you.
Terrible technique.
We're just gonna paint the top half of the wall in that same atrium white that I've been using throughout all the common areas in the house. I found that this color really warms up our house, especially since we don't get a lot of natural lighting. It has given our home some life in comparison to that drabby gray color that was here before. So if you're looking to freshen up your home, I would definitely recommend to go for a warm toned white like this one. Okay. What?
Be honest.
What?
Who's better at painting, me or you?
Me? Look at how matchy this is.
It looks perfect.
That's why I'm going over it again. Honestly, maybe it's the paint. I don't know.
Oh, that's what you're talking about.
Even though you're not technically supposed to paint right over your paint, I'm gonna do it anyways. No, well, no. Welcome to another day of this makeover. The wall is prepped and ready to go. This white honestly brightens the space so much. Every time we paint one of these gray walls, it just makes my heart sing, and I'm very happy with how it's looking so far. For the bottom half, I want to add some details, so we're going to put some beadboard, but we're not going to put on regular beadboard. We're actually going to put on some beadboard wallpaper. I've been noticing a lot of people using this, and I wanted to try it out because we do have some detail work underneath the window that's going to be a little bit harder to cut if I use regular beadboard. So this is my solution. I'm going to try it out and give you guys my honest thoughts on it. At first glance, when you press it, it is a little bit squishy, so that's going to be interesting to apply because I noticed in some reviews that people said that it can get dented really easily, so we'll see how that works. I'm going to start with this edge right here just so that we get a clean line all the way down and then work my way outwards. I always recommend to start the first piece of wallpaper by drawing a leveled line. That way you know for sure that your wallpaper is going to be straight up and down, especially if you're working with a beadboard pattern like this one. You want to make sure that the first one is lined up, otherwise it's going to start looking wonky. And this is actually the first time that I'm using a pre-pasted wallpaper like this one. I've only used peel and stick in the past, but I found it to be pretty easy to install. All you have to do is to cut it to size and then wet the back of it to activate that adhesive. I just used my Mister bottle here, but you could definitely wet it in a tub of water to really soak it up. I will warn you though, once it's wet, it is really easy to rib, so be extra careful with it. And once you do apply it to the wall, you can kind of shimmy it or lift it off until you get it exactly where you need it to go. Here's the first panel. It went up pretty quickly. What I did notice though is that when I was cutting at the bottom over here, you can see it ripped a little bit, which is fine because I'm gonna caulk over it anyways. But that is something to be mindful of because I was really hoping for a clean line here, but that didn't happen, but at least we can fix it. Also, surprisingly, I'm not getting too many air bubbles. I think that's just because this is a pre-pasted item versus a peel and stick, so I really like how easy this was. I'm very interested to see how this holds up, so I will definitely update you guys in the future. And compared to installing actual beadboard panels, I feel like this wallpaper is a little bit more finicky to work with, and it's also a bit more fragile. With beadboard paneling, you can basically just put it up there with some brad nails and call it a day. But on the other hand, I really do like that I can easily cut around more detailed areas like under that window trim, and it's also going to be easy to remove in the future if I ever need to. After this first impression, I'm really liking this wallpaper and it seems to be holding up really well, but let me know in the comments what you guys think about beadboard wallpaper. Would you try it? Would you not try it? I would love to know. The beadboard is up and I'm loving how it's looking. I think this looks very convincing. The texture is super nice on it. I want to add a little shelving moment here. I think that's going to look so amazing with some hooks underneath. So I grabbed some pre-primed MDF boards. Did I say that right? Pre-primed MDF boards. Here they are. This is gonna be the shelf, and then this is where we're gonna put all the hooks. So it's gonna look a little something like this. Oh my god, that already looks so good. And all I have to do is to cut this down. This is also super affordable to do. These pieces were, I think, $8 or $9 for this larger one, and then this one I believe was $5. So overall this project is super affordable. So I just cut the two boards to size with my miter saw, and I actually realized that this is wood, not MDF, so that was a pleasant surprise because this is actually gonna hold up really great. I added liquid nails to the back, and then I just attached it to the wall with a brad nailer and made sure that it was nice and sturdy. For the actual shelf part, I just nailed it into place across the entire piece. And I honestly have been dying to create one of these little ledges in my house, so this is just the perfect spot to do it. And after everything was in, you just want to leave it for a couple of hours to dry down. Okay, I am so in love with this little shelf. It looks so cute, and it's also very sturdy, which is important because you want to make sure that you can put some decor on here. So this is a great spot to have a little styling moment, and then I want to put a mirror right here. Ah, it's gonna be so good. I went ahead and just stained the rest of the bench while I was waiting for everything else to dry up. I used that same method before, just using the special walnut first and then went over top with the hazelwood, and this was just looking so good. I seriously can't believe that I built a bench. I think I picked up power tools maybe a year ago, so seeing all the progress that I've been able to make is just so amazing, and I hope that it encourages you guys to pick up some power tools and get to building because it's seriously so much fun. Everything is dry now and ready for paint, so I'm gonna go with something that's going to complement the kitchen well. At first I was thinking of doing a beigey color, but then I saw this color, which is called Bonsai Pot, and you can kind of see this is just a really muted green color. It's almost gray, almost beige, so this color really ticked off all the boxes, and I can't wait to get it up there. This color is honestly such a happy color to me because it makes me really happy when I look at it. And after cutting in all of the edges, I just used my roller to get it onto the beadboard, and I was actually finding it to be really easy to get into all those little grooves. The coverage was really good, and I did have to do 2 coats just to make sure that it got every nook and cranny. You guys, I cannot believe this is one of the last areas to paint on this level of the house. We've been in this house for 9 months now, which is so crazy for me to even think about because when we first moved in, we had just started doing YouTube full time. So looking back, I'm just so proud of how far we've come in the time that we've been here. I hope that you've been enjoying all the videos on this channel. It's seriously been such a blessing to be able to do this. So thank you for watching week after week. And even though we're almost done with the main level of the house, there's still plenty to do around here, so look forward to even more makeovers. I also went ahead and painted the door the same color. I think this really ties it all together. And as one of you commented in an old video, I am going to paint these landlord style. I think that's hilarious. I didn't sand or even prime this door at all. I just put the paint right on there because we will be replacing this. But if you do plan on painting a door, make sure that you do all the right steps to prep it so that it will last longer. I seriously cannot get over this color. I think it looks so good. Now that the tape is off, you can really see the full vision of this. Today is finally the last day of this makeover, so we're going to pull everything together. The first thing I'm going to do is actually to add these little hooks to the bottom of the shelf over here. I love these little hooks, and I've used them in our entryway as well as our powder room, so this is going to be nice just to tie that all together. So I'm going to add 5 of these across the top, and this is going to give us so much storage and make it really functional as well. It is finally time to style, so I'm going to hang up a round mirror. This is going to be the perfect place to check yourself out before heading out the door. And then you guys on Instagram voted for me to put a hanging plant in this corner, so that's what I'm doing. And if you want to participate in these little polls to see what I'm doing around the house and also get a behind the scenes look and little sneak peeks, definitely check out my Instagram. I basically post on my stories every day, so that's a great place to keep up with me. For the rest of the decor, I'm keeping it pretty minimal, so I'm adding a photo from our wedding, and also some functional items like a mister bottle, a ring dish, and this is also a great place to store our sunnies, and also to hang bags and hats and things, so that's what I'm sprinkling throughout. Oh my god, it's so good! Love it. Okay, it's time to do a sit test. Oh my god, it's so sturdy. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, it's almost reveal time. Let's take a look back at what this area looked like before. It was untouched, forgotten about, and it really did not serve any purpose at all. And now after DIYing a bench and creating a fun feature wall moment in this little space, here is the after. I am seriously really obsessed with how this turned out. I really love doing small makeovers like this because you really don't have to do too much to make a big impact, and now this makes such a statement in the house. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this makeover. I also want to note that the runner that I'm using in here is actually from my entryway. I'm not sure if I want to keep it. I'm kind of up in the air about adding a rug here. Maybe I'll do a small area rug because we do have a runner in the kitchen. So it kind of looks a little weird having two runners basically next to each other. So I'm still debating if I want to put something here. Let me know what you think I should do, but overall I'm just so happy with this, and the bench just turned out so good. Like, this is perfect for this space, and it was such a fun beginner friendly build, so I'm just so proud of that project. And again, a big thank you to Modern Fertility for sponsoring today's video. If you guys want to check them out and save $20 on your hormone test, make sure to click on my link down below. I just realized I totally match with the background. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe below if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!